Happy Camper Radio with Skip Huber.
Good to be back with you again. Hello, everybody. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. It's episode 175, and this is the Happy Camper Radio Show. What are your plans for Halloween this year? Have you thought about taking the kids Halloween camping? You'll be surprised more and more campgrounds are getting in on the festive activities each and every year. And I'm sure you can find a campground not too far away from you. It's Halloween Camping 2017 on today's edition of Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper Radio.
And as always, the Happy Camper Radio Show can be heard all around the world by listeners just like yourself. You can find us in the iTunes Store and Podbean, Myra Guide, Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iHeartRadio, and now on Google Play Music. Tell your friends to tune in to Happy Camper Radio today. You can get in touch with us here at the Happy Camper Radio Show by calling 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to www.happycamperradio.com. They'll find all of our social media icons right there on the homepage. Click on any one of them to connect up with us. Sign up on social media, and we give you a shout-out on the program. And that's what I'm going to do right now to some folks who just recently signed up with us on social media. Let's start by saying hello, first of all, to Sandra Sendeco. She likes us on Facebook. Mel Lockhuff of Rogers, Arkansas. Kelly Stidwell of Florida. The fine folks over at Eco Camel Showers. To my friends back in my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, saying hello to the friends at Pittsburgh Painting Company. They're all following us on Twitter. And finally, to Don S., who subscribes to our YouTube channel. Thank you, each and every one of you. So happy to have you on board. And more importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Want to be on the show? I'd love to have you. Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and believe me, we'll make that happen. There's a lot of things to talk about in the world of camping, and I would love to talk to you. Halloween 2017. Have you checked it out on the calendar? Well, it's on a Monday this year. Many communities, you'll be surprised, are going to be celebrating trick-or-treat on a Saturday, simply because Monday is a school night. And a lot of the kids, knowing them, they want to stay out very late, and they're going to be sleepy-eyed when they get to school the very next day. But on the other hand, then some communities do celebrate it on Monday. If this is the case, kids are going to be out a little later than normal, considering the fact that it is a school night. Now, being a responsible motorist means you're going to slow down and you're going to be alert when driving around. I don't care where you're at. Especially in some of these neighborhoods that are dark. There are no street lights around. Hopefully, these kids are all going to be carrying flashlights. Every one of the flashlights are going to be on. They're going to be wearing bright-colored clothing. Some are going to be walking on the opposite side of the road. Some are going to be walking on your side of the road. So whatever the case may be, if you're driving around on the 31st of October, Halloween night, you want to be extra cautious, slow down, take a little time to get to your destination, allow yourself a little more time. Because the last thing we need to find out is one of these kids got hit by a car while they're out walking around, only because they're having a good time. You hate things like this, folks, but I hear it each and every year. There's many concerns with traditional Halloween activities. Today, I'm telling you, folks, there's a lot going on in the world. And there's going to be children visiting homes that they're unfamiliar with. Like we say, the streets are going to be dark, and some children are not going to be accompanied by an adult. They're going to be caught up in the excitement. Some of these kids may not be thinking. They may not be concerned about oncoming motorists or speeding vehicles. This is a huge problem in the neighborhood I live in. Now, this particular street I'm on, I'm like 8 houses down from the main road. And once you turn into our subdivision, it is like a 300-yard straight shot before the roads start winding back and forth. Speeding is a big problem in our neighborhood. Fortunately, we have some folks that live on the main drag here that are a little concerned about this, and we have reached out to the county about getting speed humps installed on our street. Being the fact that it's a big government, and I talked to you about this before when I was talking about my new utility shed and had to jump through a bunch of hoops and hurdles to get the building permit. Same thing goes when you're trying to install speed humps. They want all kind of signatures, they want meetings, they want this and that, and it's going to cost you a little bit more each and every year on your county property tax bill to get those installed. But it is something that is definitely needed in our particular neighborhood. I personally don't believe some of the people that are speeding along this stretch of roadway actually live here. They may be coming in to visit other people because the folks who do live in this community are concerned about that. And I'm definitely concerned come Monday about the kids out here trick-or-treating and walking down the street. Some folks just don't care. It's a sad thing to say, but I would hate to hear that somebody ends up getting struck, killed, or whatever the case may be by someone who was not paying attention. Keep in mind, not all kids, like I say, are going to be wearing bright-colored clothes. It all depends on what their character they're dressed up as. If you're going to be dressed as Dracula, I doubt you're going to be wearing orange or red or purple or something like that. So be very careful, regardless of where you live. If you're going to be participating in trick-or-treating activities and you're going to be out there with the kids, use some good common sense, carry a flashlight with you, and make sure that you stay off the main roadway if you possibly can. If there's sidewalks, please use the sidewalks. Trick-or-treating in public schools these days, wow, that's a big no-no. Many public schools have banned these type of activities. Kids today, unlike in the days when I went to school, they cannot wear costumes. They cannot bring candy to school. They're not allowed to wear masks of any type. And there are some public schools that won't even allow kids to discuss Halloween and what they may be doing and planning on dressing up as later on that evening when they get home. Wow, has things changed over the past 50 years. I remember going to school every year. In my elementary school years, we were allowed to dress up, and you could dress up and make your costume as fancy as you possibly could make it. Some people wore, like I say, the Dracula outfit. Some people dressed up as a superhero. I remember Batman and Robin were big characters back in those days. You had Superman. You had Superwoman. You had just about any type of cartoon character on television, and kids wanted to dress up as these characters. And it was good, clean fun. Kids brought candy to school. They dumped candy in each and every bag. And a lot of us went home with plenty of candy. Now, the teacher, I got to say to her credit, she was saying no eating candy in class. That was a big no-no, and I do respect that. I did back in those days. But you don't hear of those type of activities going on today. No way, no how. Halloween was always meant to be fun and traditional. But then again, much has changed in today's society. Attitudes have changed. Society has become more diverse. You have people coming into the United States from all different countries, and they're now calling America home. There are many religious and political views associated with Halloween, and some folks just prefer to stay away from it rather than get involved in controversy. There's many hidden dangers to be concerned about. And that also includes going into neighborhoods that kids are not familiar with. And when this happens, a lot of kids just so happen to be going trick-or-treating with friends that they know who actually live in those communities. But as a parent, would you want your kid going into those communities, knocking on doors where they have absolutely no idea who is going to be answering that door or what they're going to be placing in your kid's pillow sack or bag or whatever they may be carrying? Again, are there going to be problems with speeding motorists in those neighborhoods? Today, because a lot of Halloween activities have been canceled because of problems in the past, it's the kids who are paying the price. Now, I'm not saying this happens everywhere. Yes, I'm so happy to see that we still do have Halloween in our neighborhood. I still would much prefer camping, but I'm going to be home this Halloween. And I know, as I've lived in this neighborhood for a very long time, Every year we can count on knocks at the door. We're going to have a big bowl of candy. We're always going to be stocked with more candy that we need to give out. But the kids are going to be coming by, and the parents are going to be coming by, and we don't really get to know all the neighbors in this neighborhood, but on Halloween, they do come out with their kids, and they do knock at the door, and it's a great place and a great time to meet some of your fellow neighbors. On the other hand, if you're interested in going camping on Halloween, you may be surprised that more campgrounds, more private campgrounds than public campgrounds, are getting in on the fun and activity. There's a lot of activities going on in these campgrounds come Halloween, and all you have to do is do a simple Google search. You'll find out what's going on in some of these local campgrounds. You'd be surprised just how much effort is placed in drawing attention to Halloween-related events at these campgrounds. I was really surprised the creativity. And again, I have not been to any of these, but just to go online and see some of the pictures and just them describing some of the activities that they have, I can understand where it would draw campers right to their particular campground. And I got to say this, if you want to take your kids out to a very safe environment where a kid can be a kid and just let their hair down, let them have a good time, let them run around, and don't have to worry about them getting hurt or worry about this or that happening to them like you would in your own neighborhood, then I would say pack your camping gear when you get an opportunity to go Halloween camping and just do it. Some are going to be holding Halloween-related events every weekend during the month of October, and this is nothing new, folks. If you don't get an opportunity to go out camping next weekend and take your kids out to a Halloween camping event, definitely consider it on the calendar sometime next year during the month of October. And again, you don't have to look very far. You'll be surprised at just how some of these campgrounds go out of their way to decorate. You'll even find campers who are decorating their individual sites. Now, I haven't heard it before, but some campers may end up handing out candy if the kids go from site to site trick-or-treating. You don't have to look very far to find a campground very close by near you these days that are offering Halloween camping activities for the kids. Privately owned campgrounds seem to offer up the best activities because, unlike the public campgrounds, the private campgrounds are in the hospitality business. They are very family-oriented. What they do each and every day is very planned out, and they want repeat business. I understand that. In fact, if I owned a campground, I would be going all out of my way to make sure my guests had a wonderful, memorable time so they would come back again next year and bring some friends along with them. Now, if you happen to find a campground on the web, and you've got any questions as to what they have to offer and what the rates are and what you can bring, what you can't bring, what you can wear, what you can't wear, things like that, all you've got to do is pick up the phone and give them a call, or you can email them. There's a link on just every website that allows you to make contact directly with the campground owner. So why does it make sense to go Halloween camping? Well, I think I just hit on a bunch of points right there. Campers are the greatest group of people on the planet. I've spoke about that on countless occasions. Many years ago, when I was out and about, and I would show up at a campground, and I would set up my camp, I would get everything just as I wanted it. After getting the fire started and hanging around for a couple days, yes, I would be out and about. I'd be walking the nature trail, maybe going down to the beach and swimming, or I could be anywhere within the campground itself, maybe sitting around and having a good conversation with some people I just met. Never once have I ever had a problem with my gear being disturbed while I was away. Everything was just as it was when I left. You'll find that to this very day. Campers look out for one another. We take care of one another. These are the type of friends you want to meet. These are the type of people you want to be around. Campgrounds that offer Halloween festive activities are focused on clean family fun. Even adults can participate. You just take a look at some of these websites and, just do a Google search. That's all you have to do. You'll be surprised to see some adults that are making the kids laugh just by being dressed up and acting silly. All right, so yeah, this does happen. And I wouldn't mind getting up and dressing up myself, going out to some of these campgrounds. I don't know what it'd be, but a lot of campground owners are encouraging family participation. The campgrounds are providing clean activities, face painting, hay rides, parades, awards for the best dressed outfit. The best part about it is a kid can dress up and be a kid. They're going to go home with tons of memories, take plenty of pictures when you get there. They encourage that. They want you to have fun. They want you to come back next year. And whether your kid has a bunch of candy to take home is beside the point. It's the fact that they're getting out and they're having fun. They're able to dress up. I do believe, yes, they're going to walk away with some candy, maybe not the amount that they're going to have when they go trick-or-treating from door to door, if they still want to do that. But you can go ahead and book any one of these camping trips anytime on a weekend in October. Just search the web. You'll find a campground out there that I know that you will want to connect up with. Here's something else. I just recently discovered a Halloween camping Facebook community. If you looked on my website, Happy Camper Radio, on Facebook, that's facebook.com/Happy Camper Radio, I went to this site here about a week ago, and I found this one Halloween recipe that had my mouth watering. It's Dracula cookies. And even though I haven't worked my way down in the kitchen, I don't think I'll be allowed down there for some time. But when I get an opportunity to open the oven and bake these cookies, I'm going to do that because they really caught my attention. Anyway, I went ahead and posted it on Facebook. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, there's a lot of good information there, and you'll get to see what other people are doing when they go Halloween camping. Now, on a serious note, here's something else I want to bring up, folks. If you're going to go camping with the kids and you're going to dress up, yes, I expect you to have fun. Your kids expect you to have fun. But do not wear an outfit that is going to scare the daylights out of them and everybody around them, because this can have long-lasting effects. And the last thing you want is your kid or any kid going on home and saying, I don't want to come back next year. In fact, I don't even want to go trick-or-treating in my neighborhood because somebody was dressed up as the creepy clown. Yes, friends, this is an epidemic, and you know what I'm talking about. It goes way on back to when, I think it was in the early 1990s. Remember the movie It? Stephen King's movie It that came out, Pennywise the Clown? It scared everyone to death. My kids were very young back then. They saw the movie and they couldn't stand it. You couldn't even mention the word Pennywise without sending chills down their spine. Now, they're both grown adults today. My oldest one is 34 years old, and she will not watch that movie, It, by Stephen King, because she's scared of clowns. And here we are, and the worst timing, the most terrible timing ever, we now have the 2017 version of Stephen King's It that just came out a couple weeks ago. And folks were starting to get scared. I think it was the morning of the movie being released in theaters. I was coming home from work and I was driving down Peachtree Street in downtown Atlanta. And lo and behold, right there at the edge of the road, connected to a sewer cap, is a red balloon. And I've heard these red balloons are scaring people too, because it's reminding them of Pennywise the Clown. Do not dress up as a creepy clown. There are some clown masks that are scary enough to send people running the other way. You don't want to have your kids petrified to death where they don't want to go trick-or-treating. It may be good for a laugh, okay, but think about the long-term effects of what can happen. If you like those kind of movies, I say go to the theater and enjoy them. Get scared out of your mind. Take somebody with you who will enjoy the movie just like you. But don't go wearing a clown mask. Don't be doing things that are going to frighten people just for the simple purpose of making them scared. Do you know there are individuals today who are going to jail for these activities? There are some states that have laws that prohibit the wearing of masks outside of events like Halloween. If you are dressing up and you are scaring people, you may find yourself going to jail for a few days for something like that. It may seem harmless to you, but you've got to consider what's going on in the world today. You don't want to get people scared half out of their minds. especially don't want to get kids scared on Halloween. Also considering what the long-lasting effects would be for your employment if you were to do something like that and it gets posted on social media and goes viral. I've heard about these things happening before too, especially when adults show up at work because they're offering a costume party, but they don't have the guidelines laid out. And somebody dresses up as something that is controversial. It's going to be something that will be talked about throughout the office. And the next thing you know, some people find themselves in the unemployment line. All you've got to do, folks, is use good judgment. If you have any questions about what you can wear and what you can't wear at a Halloween campground, most likely you're going to find all the information you need on their website. But if you have any other questions, even maybe what your kid is going to be wearing, you don't want to offend anybody that way too. But just check with the campground. They'll be able to tell you exactly what their guidelines are. Consider your actions and the consequences that may follow. Like I say, some people may think this is funny at the moment, but the next day, some people find themselves in the unemployment line, and that's no fun whatsoever. Remember, Halloween is a good time to have fun. It's a festive time. Your kids look forward to it each and every year. They look forward to the candy that's coming into their bags. And parents, especially moms, whenever you get your kids candy, always take the time to inspect each and every piece of candy before they're allowed to consume it and make sure that the bags and the wrappers and everything are not tore open or things like that. Throw those out right away. You never can be too safe, even if you think nothing bad is going to happen. I don't care where you're at. Be a good parent and take these things into consideration each and every time you go trick-or-treating with the kids, or if you happen to stay home and you trust them to be out with their friends. Always set a time limit where you expect them to be home. They're always going to want to get one more home and hopefully get some candy that way too. But keep all this in mind. And again, if you have the opportunity to go Halloween camping this year, if not, consider it next year. It's a great way to spend time with the family, the kids, and you're always going to be in a very safe environment. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. I was looking for a campground that offered trick-or-treating, and I was having a little trouble finding one in the recreation.gov community. But I've got something here that's pretty close to that. Have you ever thought about exploring a cave? Well, if you happen to live in the state of Kentucky or happen to visit there between now and November 30th, consider the Mammoth Cave Campground. It is our featured campground of the week on the Happy Camper Radio Show. The Mammoth Cave Campground puts campers in a prime spot to explore the depths and overland treasures of Mammoth Cave National Park. Mammoth Cave is an underground passageway containing more than 390 miles of naturally sculpted limestone and sandstone. It is the longest recorded cave system in the world. The grand-scale chambers and long, winding passageways were the inspiration behind the park's name. The camp area doubles as an entry point to 14 miles of hiking trails. It's also a 5-minute walk from the visitor center where the cave tour begins. Check out a lot of their activities and amenities right there on their website. The 105 primitive campsites are set around a paved parking area surrounded by aromatic trees. Water and vault toilets are located inside the 3 loops, and the Park Visitor Center is a 5-minute walk away. Mammoth Cave National Park spans 52,835 acres and was established in 1941. Also, check the Know Before You Go items before you make your reservations, and don't forget, don't move firewood. Purchase your firewood locally and burning it on site. For more information, visit don'tmovefirewood.org or visit the link on our website, happycamperradio.com. I'm always looking for a great place to invite you to go camping, and here's one of them right here. It's the Mammoth Cave Campground in Kentucky. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip Hubert. HappyCamperRadio.com.
And as always, if you have a campground you would like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Be sure to include a link to the campground website. And that's going to wrap up this edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show, episode 175. It's time to go trick-or-treating, whether you're going to be out in the neighborhood or at a public or private campground, taking in all the fun and activities that are available. Have a great time in doing so. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. Do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. No doubt about it, my friends. I'm going to do my best to make a happy camper out of you. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper Radio.